Hello, friends. Podcasting, section 2.4 in your Algebra 2 book. In 2.4, we're going to learn a new form of the equation. Remember, we already have two forms. We've got slope-intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. And, you know, to help you remember, all right, it's slope-intercept because that's the slope and that's the y-intercept. And this is general linear, really, because this is written in a form that I can put in a matrix and use in a computer. So it's general linear form, but remember, we got the A, B, and C that we talked about in 2.3. So both of these have a place. And now we're going to learn a new form, which is the point slope form. And it's point slope form because you're going to use this when you know the slope and one point. We're going to call that point x1, y1. And if I have those two pieces of information, I can plug what I know into this equation and simplify it down either to slope-intercept form, or I can put it into general form. So again, we're getting to that place where no matter what I'm given, if I'm given 2 points, if I'm given a slope and a point, if I'm given a y-intercept and a slope, or y-intercept and a point, I can find an equation, I can make a graph, I can make a table, I can switch forms of the equation. These are all things I want to be able to do. All right, so some examples. What kind of equations am I going to have to do? Well, if I'm given uh, a line, if I'm just given a graph, and I'm asked to write an equation for it, I can just take a look at this graph. Here's my line, and I see from this pretty much everything I need. I can see my y-intercept right here is 1, so I can use that right there. That's my b. And then by looking at this, I can see my slope. I can go from any 2 points here. So I'm looking for ones that are, whole points. Like that looks like a whole point right there. And clearly this is 2. So what's the rise over the run? Well, the rise clearly is going down 3, and the run is going to the right 4. So that is a slope of negative 3 over 2. And there's my negative 3, here's my 2, and I take that information and I can plug it right in there. So if I'm given a graph, I'm looking for the y-intercept. I pick 2 points, and any 2 points in the line will get me where I got to go. All right, so, and I find the slope, and I'm off to the races. Second kind of problem I could get thrown at me. In this problem, I'm given a point on a line and the line's slope. So now I'm going to use that point slope form I was just talking about. Here's my general form. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take the slope. I'm going to plug it right in here. I'm going to take the first x coordinate, which is this one right here. I'm going to plug it right in there. And the y coordinate, and I'm going to plug that in right there. So with everything plugged in right here, and now it's just a matter of simplifying. Notice I use distributive property here. You don't forget to forget these things. And I distribute, and I add the 1 to both sides, and that goes from negative 4 to 3. And there's my equation for a line. If I wanted this in general linear form, all I'd have to do is subtract 2x from both sides. I'd get negative 2x plus y equals negative 3, and I'd be in standard or general linear form. All right, now I've got to go revisit my definitions for parallel and perpendicular. Remember, lines that are parallel have the same slopes, and lines that are perpendicular have slopes that are negative reciprocals. So what do they want you to do? They want you to write a line, write 2 equations. Both of these lines are going to go through this point, negative 1, 1. One is going to be parallel to this equation, so that means it's going to have a slope of negative 2. The other is going to be perpendicular, which means its slope is going to be positive 1/2. And what you see right here, if you need to pause this podcast and look at this, you can see how they do both. So this is the negative 2 line, so this must be the one that's parallel. And when I simplify down, I get this. And this is the one that's perpendicular because they put in the positive 1/2. And when I simplify down, I get this. Now this is an example if you're given 2 points and asked to write an equation for the line. This part I like. I plug in and I find the slope. Now we've already done a lot of this. Now once I have this, I don't like what they do here. I'm going to show you a different way in class tomorrow. But defining the slope, that's something we've already done, so make sure you're good with that for class, and we'll see you then.